Right now, we're finally going to discuss methods in Java. Methods are blocks of code that define a certain action or series of actions. And they are class members, meaning that they belong to some sort of class. Or instance of a class, to be more precise, but you'll see that later. There are so many built-in methods that we have used already. We have seen arrays.sort, we've seen many methods on the string class, we've seen methods on the string builder class, we've seen a lot of methods already. Methods only run when they are called, and we called them, so they were running for us. What we want to do today is write our own methods. So, what does a method look like? Well, there's a very fixed syntax for a method that needs to be used in order for Java to recognize a method as such. So you start off with all the modifiers, followed by some sort of return type. And with return type, I mean whatever the method is giving back. So if it's doing some sort of calculation, the result could be a double, meaning that this method is giving a double back to whoever called it. If a method doesn't return anything, it still needs to have void as a return type, meaning emptiness, so to say. So then it means it's not returning anything. So modifiers, return type, and then the name of the method. The name of the method starts with a lowercase letter, that's a convention. And then always round parentheses are following. And between these round parentheses there can be specified input parameters. But even if there are no input parameters, you'll still need these parentheses. And then you get the curly brackets, and within the curly brackets you write down all the actions that a method is doing. So we see an example on the slide here, and usually whatever's in between the curly brackets will be on a new line. But the example here, it's public. We'll see that really soon, what that means. Then int, meaning that it gives back an int. The name adds 2 numbers. And then we specify int a and int b as input parameters for this method. And then the actions of the method start, and that is return. So I give back to whoever called it a plus b. So the result of a plus b. So if I would call add 2 numbers with 2, 4, it would return 6. Let's have a look at IntelliJ to see how this is actually working. So here we have a tiger class. And this tiger class has a few properties. It has a name, an age, and whether it's hungry or not Boolean. Well, we want to give this tiger some methods. A sensible method for a tiger would probably be something like hunt. So we could say public, void is not returning anything, hunt. Then we could just, I don't know, just print something, say tiger is hunting. So this would be an example of a method. Here we have the access modifier, the return type, the name, and the round parentheses with nothing in there, meaning that this method is not returning anything. And then we specify only one action. It will print to the console that the tiger is hunting. Sure. Let's create a method with an input parameter to see something else. Well, let's again make it public, say it's not returning anything, and we'll call it catch prey. I said we would specify an input parameter, so what we could, for example, do, we could use another animal as an input, so that would be the prey it would be catching. I don't have another animal class, so I'll just do int attempts, meaning the number of attempts is trying to catch the animal. And I'm just going to make a simple print statement. Tiger is trying to catch prey, oh, pretty, plus attempts, plus number of times. There you go. So now I'm using this input variable. I don't know at this moment what it is yet. I just know that whenever this method is called, it is going to have to be called using some sort of input parameter. And let's show one more variation. Let's make the same method with the same name. But then, well, let's just attempts and also a name of the animal. Prey name. And then here we can say south tiger is trying to catch prey. And again we say attempts, number of times. And actually we don't need to say prey, we can just say the prey name. Add in an additional space here. And then we still need to return something. So let's just say if he tries to catch it more than twice, so if attempt is bigger than 2, it will return true, and else it will return false. I mean, it's not very much based on reality, but it is good for demonstrating how this is working. So let's go over it. What's happening here? This might go very fast for you. So we have the method name here, catch prey. And catch prey is taking 2 input parameters, 1 number of attempts, and 1 name of the prey. And then it's giving back a boolean. So first we start with printing this message. We use both the input parameters for this to create a line to the console that makes sense. And then we say, if attempts is bigger than 2, return true, kind of indicating that it successfully caught the prey. If it's smaller than 2 or equal than 2, it will return false. So let me show you how this is working. What we first need in order to do this is a tiger. There we go. And I'm first going to call tiger.hunt. And then I'm going to say t.catchPrey, just 5 times. And then I'm going to call our other catchPrey method. And I'm calling this with 5 times and a name. And to show the other part, I'm going to call this with only 1 times and another name. You see that I have the catch prey name twice in there. This is not a problem because the so-called signature is different, meaning that this one is only taking 1 input parameter of type int. This one is taking 2 input parameters, 1 of int, 1 of string. So this is fine. Java knows which catch prey I'm trying to call here. So let's run this and see what it's doing. There we go. Tiger is hunting. Tiger is trying to catch prey 5 number of times, trying to catch Mickey, trying to catch Rambo. As you can see right now, it's not showing whether it's actually catching the prey successfully or not. So let's store the result of this. Call this boolean b2. I can make an if statement to demonstrate that again. I can say if b is true. I don't need to say is true because it's already a boolean. So if b, poor Mickey, and else, well, Mickey got away, poor Tiger. And I'm gonna do the same here. If b2 is true, that means poor Rambo, and else we'll print Rambo got away, poor Tiger. So let's run this nonsense, and there we go. So you see that the first time, poor Mickey, so that means that b is true. Attempts is bigger than 5, so this method is returning true. The second time, Rambo got away. So as we can see here, this is false, meaning that it goes to the else class of this method. And this is pretty much how methods are working. In the next video, I'll demonstrate access modifiers to you. And that's going to be really fun.